How's it going, you guys? My name is Charles, and this is the Trader's Corner. Today, we're going to be looking at 3 quick trades that I took, 3 quick hitters on all 3 US indices, and we're going to be looking at why I got in and why I got out when I did. So definitely stick around to the end of the video to check that out. If you're new to the Trader's Corner, please take some time to like and subscribe. We would really appreciate it, and you can expect to find some new content around trading and investing or improving as a trader or investor each week. So without further ado, let's get into the analysis. Looking at the daily chart of this is the S&P, right? And so we'll just zoom in here. One second. So we'll just zoom in here. That's good. Yep. So we're looking at the daily chart again of S&P, and looking at the daily chart again, like we've been talking about, we're anticipating a push below these lows. Why are we anticipating a push below these lows at the very least? Well, first off, I'm of the mind that we can continue lower and try to sweep these lows, right, before we try to start a new trend higher in the stock market. I could be wrong. It's perfectly fine. I don't really care, because what I'm saying is, even if I'm wrong about, us needing to make new lows, even if I'm wrong about that, I wouldn't want to start trying to buy up here, right? Especially on the daily, as everybody is trying to buy up here or rationalize buying up here, right? You have a lot of talking heads trying to rationalize buying in these areas, all this kind of stuff, right? So because of that, I'm anticipating a push lower below this swing low. Even if we're looking to go to the upside, I'm anticipating a push lower below this swing low here, and then likely this swing low as well, to get into this area before looking to buy the S&P, all right? Even if I look to do it, I'm probably not. It's going to be really based on how we move into this area. The price action will give me an indication on whether or not, quote unquote, this is, maybe a place where we turn around and this downtrend that we've been seeing is over, or if we have the ability to continue lower and sweep these lows, right? But, until we get below these lows, I'm selling, right? So let's get down to the 1 minute. So looking at the 1 minute, the main thing we're going to do, and we already did it over here, was we marked on the open price. So this is actually the open price. So let me do this. So we marked on the midnight open price, right? And so with that marked on, essentially what we want to see, since we're looking to sell, is we're looking to see price get above, first and foremost, this midnight open price. And then also I'd love to see it get above some relative equal highs, which actually comes right in line with this midnight open price, right? So we kind of have this area here in terms of pulling back up into that area. So that would be awesome. But again, it doesn't have to stop at this area. I'm not saying that the market is going to just turn around on a pin at this area. This is the first area I'd be looking to enter into. And if we get an opportunity at 7 a.m., if we get an opportunity at 7 a.m. during this time, so let's mark that on. We get an opportunity at 7 a.m. or past that time, then I'll look to get entered, right? And so that is what we're looking for on S&P. So we're looking to get above these relative equal highs here at the very least, if not getting above these highs as well. I would prefer for us to get all the way above these highs, but I'm not going to try to tell the market it has to do anything. So again, if we get back up into this area and present me an opportunity, I'm going to take it, right? Because again, we're above that midnight open price. We're looking to go lower. We have space to go lower on the daily. So yeah. Now we'll look at NASDAQ. NASDAQ is going to be largely similar to S&P. So we'll just move these old drawings, clear drawing set. And take this guy off too. I don't need you anymore. So we'll get zoomed in here. Give me 1 second. So again, very much the same area, right? We just got above this set of relative equal highs here, just barely, right? But again, even if I'm looking to buy, even though I'm thinking that we're going to continue lower for one more sweep below these lows, even if I'm wrong about that and we can look to buy, I would not look to be interested in buying until we got to below these swing lows. And again, another easy way to see this for me in terms of how I trade is looking at the fib retracement, right? So from low to high, right? Getting below this swing low is the first time we get even near 50% retracement. So I have to at least be at the 50% retracement on the daily of the daily move that I'm looking at to even be interested. So again, what does that mean? So that's why I'm even interested over here to the downside, right? So here to here, body to body, we're much above that. Well, not much above, but we're still above that 50 level, right? So still above that 50 level. On top of that, we tag the level and have not made a new low yet. That's really my rule. I would prefer to see us be above the 50 level. That's kind of that's an area where my strategy goes from more valid to more high probability, right? So like in terms of us being above the 50 level as I'm taking the opportunity, then I would prefer for us to be that. But if we just tag that 50 level and have not broken below a swing low, below that 50 level, then we're still good to go in terms of continuing to trade, because the idea is that we can continue lower kind of in the move to get below that swing low, right? So that's what we're looking for in terms of the daily, the minute, time frame. So again, we'll go ahead, get that midnight open price on. Right here, right? So we got the midnight open price, okay? Again, we can get above these swing highs, that would be great, but we're still already above this midnight open price as it is. But regardless, we have to get above some set of swing highs, right? So we have to get above these, at least these swing highs, if not these as well. Very much the same thing as we were looking with S&P, right? Because if we get above this swing high here, right? Again, we're getting into this nice area, right? This nice push up, push down, right? Consolidation, sharp displacement lower, all this good stuff. That's a great area to look for my first set of opportunities. But again, we definitely could still just kind of like pop above this area since we're so close, grab a bit more liquidity before we head lower. So if and when we get above this hot set of relative equal highs and I get an opportunity, enter here and take a loss, right? Take a loss. I'm not gonna be mad about it. I'm just gonna get ready to enter back in, because again, we're just getting in a better area for me to take a sell. I would just wait for, some dynamic price action in terms of a break lower. And that's the biggest thing that I need to work on. I'm realizing I need to work on in my trading. And that's what I'm back testing right now in terms of focused on my back testing, really discerning between this is dynamic price action and this is not, right? Like this to me was way more dynamic, right? Than this, even though this is like one candle, right? It doesn't really have the strength. And on top of that, once you get lower, it basically fights it right back, right? This, on the other hand, pushes lower, can barely fight it back, and then just pushes lower again. This right here is a great example of dynamic price action, right? And I mean, even on this side, until we saw this thing fought back by the buyers, this was, pretty dynamic, right? In terms of just, pushed lower. But again, this is what I'm trying to work on, what I'm trying to fix in my own strategy at the moment, in terms of identifying opportunities, because I feel like that's the area I always get myself messed up. It's, I wait. I'm good about waiting until we get above a set of highs or get below a set of lows. But sometimes I take price action that's not super dynamic. So like a perfect example of price action that's not super dynamic, but would, be dynamic enough to trick me at this point, right? It's something like this, right? It's not crazy dynamic, especially compared to the move that got it up. It's not really that dynamic at all, right? And especially the move lower below the swing low that got it up there, it's nowhere near as dynamic as the push up. So I shouldn't be interested in something like this. And these are opportunities or moves that I need to start fading and leaving alone, right? And lastly, look at Dow. We'll get this midnight open price on before we leave the 1 minute. Oh, actually, I need to clear the drawing tools. Clear drawing set. So we'll get this midnight open price on. There we go. So Dow is much more like S&P in terms of we need to get above this midnight open price, but as well, getting above that midnight open price also takes us above some set of equal highs, right? But the difference between S&P and Dow is, if we look at it very quickly, is these sets of highs are literally at the midnight open price, even one being just above it, right? And that's actually my rule, is I need to be above a set of equal highs that are either at or above the midnight open price, right? And these are at or above, right? Because this one's literally tagging it and this one is just poking above it, right? So that is like, pretty much the pinpoint definition of my rule. Whereas this this one just misses it, right? This one here just misses this midnight open price. So by what, like 0.5 ticks, but it misses it. So I need to stay consistent with my rules. So what I really need to see is I need to see us get above this high here first and foremost, right? Really, kind of this set here, but really, kind of this entire set here of highs first and foremost, just above that midnight open price. Now, if we get above this set of highs here, I would not be surprised to see us continue higher above this high here, because, as you trip people into buying, likely tripping more people into buying as well. And, it's easier for the market to take it a little bit higher before trying to crash it back lower, if that's what the market wants to do. So this one is a little bit more like S&P in terms of the 1 minute, but again, there's that slight nuance of these sets of equal highs that will be the first set that we get above wouldn't actually be above or at this midnight open price. So because of that, I need to wait for us to get above these sets of highs, right? Whereas opposed to S&P, basically the minute we get above the midnight open price, we are good to look for trades, right? And then again, looking at NASDAQ on the minutely, again, we're already above this midnight open price. So the minute we get above a set of relative equal highs, because we're already above that midnight open price, we're good to trade, right? And then we'll just quickly finish off by looking at the daily on Dow, because it's just a little bit different from S&P and NASDAQ. And it really presents probably the best opportunity as it relates to the daily, right? Because if we're thinking about kind of this whole move, right, this entire kind of swing, or you can even think about this swing here, right? And if we think about it again, I'm wrong, and this is price showing me that it's ready to go to the upside, which is fine. What can we see? Well, not this one, sorry. I thought body, didn't mean that one. Body to body, right? So where's 50? 50 is all the way down here. What have we just pushed up into? Well away from 50. Nice area, nice push down, consolidation, another push down. Even before this consolidation and push down, we had consolidation, push down, right? We get above this swing high, get above this set of highs, even though this swing high got above that guy too, but we get above this swing high, get into this area here, right? Get all the way up into, I think that's a fair value gap. I think so. Yeah, maybe a tiny one. Regardless, get all the way up into this guy here, right? All the way up into this area. And we start to push lower. We're heading for some swing lows, swing lows, swing lows. And 50, just at 50, just below 50 is another set of swing lows. Another set is another swing low. I saw swing lows. They said a swing low. So this is what we're looking at on the daily of Dow. And like I said, it probably presents the best opportunity as it relates to the daily. So we'll be looking at that. We'll be monitoring that. But again, we need to see it get above at least these highs here. So I'll go ahead and mark that. Left the fib tool on. Need to get above these highs here. So, bum, bum. So that's what we're looking at. And again, we're coming back at 7 to see what happens. But yeah, just go ahead and mark this one. So hope you guys are having a great trading day, and I'll check back in at 7. See you guys later. What's going on, you guys? Charles here from the Traders Corner. Today we're going to be looking at 3 trades that I took. It's a quick trading day, 3 quick hitters for me. All 3 ended up being wins, so that's pretty nice, I guess. So let's stop talking about it, get into looking at the trades. So, as you can see from the analysis that we did before, we were kind of looking for these levels to be hit in terms of these highs being run out, and especially being above the midnight opening price. Now, if we're looking at Dow first and foremost, we remember that this midnight opening price was here, right at 3.4, and I actually make it a different color so it's easier to see and identify when we get back over. I'll just make it gold. So midnight opening price is gonna be gold. All right. So we saw that this swing high here was just above that midnight opening price, and we also got a second one here, which is essentially, they said, hey, sell it, and then again, hey, you get one more chance to sell it before I take it lower, right? And so essentially what I did was on the first push up, right, we look at this swing high, the swing low to a new swing high, just barely, and it's really actually equal if we think about it, especially here. It's equal here, and we just get above this guy. But remember, we were talking about the fact that it was really just this area because, they were relative equal highs. They weren't equal over here, but they were relative, right? And we wanted to get above this area and really just get above this midnight open price as well, right? We got that breakdown, and we got the fair value gap in here, which is where we entered in, right? I'll actually put the executions on. Give me 1 second. So we got in here, right, at 34021. Didn't mess around with me too much here, and then we got out down here. I definitely think there's more in this to go, but I think this is kind of one of those, and we'll look at it in a better way on different opportunities on NASDAQ and S&P, but this is one of those areas where, definitely could keep going, but I didn't want to play around with it. I would much prefer to just get in, get out, take my money, and get out of the way of the steamroller. But that being said, looking at S&P, pretty much a similar situation. S&P, I believe, was a market order, because as I was putting in the limit order, it was already in the area that I was going to put the limit order in anyway. So literally as I was entering it, I'm pretty sure I just changed it right then and there to a market order. It was S&P or NASDAQ, one of those two I did that on. I can't remember right now, but I'll check back on the video because I was recording that as well. So again, we have a push up above. We're already, we were basically getting above these relative equal highs here, would take us above the midnight opening price, which again we'll mark as gold. Right. Again, if you remember from before in the video, we were talking about the idea that, it's telling me to hit this price there. We were talking about this idea that if we got into this area first and foremost, I was okay with that. You know what I mean? In terms of looking for an opportunity, if one presented itself in terms of this breakdown here, and then again, a fair value gap, right? We broke down below the swing low, fair value gap, pushed up into that, right? Again, we kind of flirted with it here. Stop loss went up here. Stop loss went at 2, right? And we pushed down and got out again right here. Again, this is a better example of essentially what I'm talking about with the area. Didn't really want to play around with it because here it's pushing lower, and it definitely was identified as an area where we could get below this guy too here. But to me, again, let's say for example that the algorithm would have you wanted to offer smart money one more chance to sell it. Well, where is an area where they might do that in terms of I'm already in my trade, and where's an area where they might say, all right, let's pop it higher one more time, give them another chance to sell it, or maybe even give them a chance to sell it up above here. Sell it up above here as well, right? To me, that was this area here, so I just wanted to get out of the way. And again, like I've talked about before, this is another thing besides just the actual entry in terms of differentiating really good entries from really bad entries. The holding the trade for a longer period of time is also something I really want to work on. But for right now, I'm just going to be happy with what I can get out of the market, and not be greedy about it, right? And here again, another example of that, right? And that's why I had this line marked on. It was just when I got here to close this down and flatten this down, it was already at this level here, right? But again, and this one was kind of the one that worried me the most. And I actually want to thank you guys because I entered this trade, and then basically same situation, but this one was probably the most high probability one. But funny enough, it was the one that I was the closest to making a trading mistake on, right? And why was it the closest to making a trading mistake, and why was it more high probability? Well, it was more high probability to me because it ran out these highs over here, right? And we saw a nice breakdown lower, again, fair value gap, and we got in here. And I think this is actually where I did the market order, looking at where it actually got entered in. Yeah, 365. Yeah, this is the one I probably did the market order on because of the, the spread tells me I likely did a market order there. But like I was saying, this is the one where I avoided a trading mistake. And what was that trading mistake? Well, I was moving my stops, right? And essentially, I felt like my stop was a little bit too tight on this one because I had my stop here at 7. It was at 7. Or 725, one of the two. It was like 725, but it was very, very close to my stop loss. And I thought to myself, this is a little bit too tight. I should have put it above 51, and that's definitely correct, but it's not correct for me to then change it in the moment. And I thought to myself, well, I want to show these guys that I'm disciplined and I'm good in my execution. So because of that, that's exactly what I did. And I said, well, you know what? Yes, you should have put it at 51, but that's for the next trade, not this one. What's worse for you to do is to change your stop loss, adjust it and get in that bad habit, right? Because, it's very quick, just as quick as it is, it can be very quick to build a good habit. It can be very quick to start building bad habits as well. And it's something I really want to avoid. So, again, I thank you guys. And, posting this content for you guys definitely helps me be a much better trader. And I think that's a really big, important reason why I definitely, I talk to trading friends about it in terms of them posting their trading. And I definitely always kind of recommend it just in that sense, because exactly like I said, I didn't want to show you guys that I did something I shouldn't have done, because, I want to show you guys the executions and where I have everything placed like I did. But if you saw the first part of the video, you saw where my stop loss went, and I didn't want to show you a different stop loss than I had in the beginning. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, man. Hope it provided some value to you guys, and join us again next time. Thank you.